What's up, guys? It's Bobby with Spitting the Truth About Records. Today's video will be about, is the Audiophile LP dead? And top 5 greatest guitarists who ever lived. Alright guys, before we get started in all this, please hit, if you like the content that I've been putting down, please hit the like and subscribe button. It'll do me a favor and help my channel blowing up. You know guys, I'm trying to do this YouTube thing. Got a camera on the way, got a mic on the way. I want to make this thing happen. So if you like the content, please hit the like and subscribe. Alright, now diving into, is the Audiophile LP dead? This is a question I've been asking myself these past couple, years actually. Because I'm starting to ask myself, when's the last time I've heard a audiophile reissue that has hand down beat the pants off the original? And I'm thinking probably in the last 10, 20 years, I can probably count on one hand on when it's happened. And there are a variation of reasons for it. One of it has to do with the mastering engineers. And the other is a problem that scares me. And that is the availability of the tapes. Now, for instance, Chad from Acoustic Sounds does a phenomenal job. Always tries to do the best. But his Doors 45 that he just put out, Doug Sachs had to bake the master tape. And I think the Doors 45, the self-titled, sounds good. But he had to bake the master tape to get it usable. How much longer are we going to be able to do this? Yes, there are dub copies, there are third dubs, there are fourth dubs, but as you know, the farther you get away from the mastering tape, the more, poor sound it yields. So, I'm asking myself, after all this stuff, that Mofi went down. Now, Mofi, we're not even putting Mofi in this discussion because Mofi hasn't put out a good sounding record in 40 years. And for most people were already pissed off at Mofi before, they found out that they were digitally cut. Finding out that they were digitally cut was the last straw for most. So, we're not talking about them really. But what we're talking about is, if you've noticed that after that whole crap went on with Mofi, I'm looking at the websites, I'm looking at Acoustic Sounds, I'm looking at Speaker's Corner, I'm looking at Rhino Sundays, all those guys that used to be proud at, doing tapes all analog. They used to, brag about it and be like all happy, are now using vague language like remastered from the original analog tapes. So it's like, okay, I'm starting to get scared. I'm sending emails. I'm asking, okay guys, could you give me the source information on that? And on Speaker's Corners, I'm getting, 2 weeks go by, 3 weeks go by, 4 weeks go by, nothing. No response in 3-4 months. And then I'm like, okay, well maybe, they had to go to DSD or something, the tapes weren't available, they did that or whatever. So then I'm trying some from Acoustic Sounds. Now Chad is always freaking phenomenal with his source information, always on point. So I'm asking him, I have a few LPs that I'm questionable about the, the source information. Because since all this stuff has gone by with Mofi, I'm looking at your site, and your site is using vague language, like mastered from the original analog tapes. They're not saying mastered from the original analog tapes, cut straight to lacquer, like they used to. So I'm sending an email. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 months, 4 months. I'm not hearing anything back. And this is the point, guys, that I'm trying to make. I'm wondering how much longer we can do this. How much longer are the tapes going to be in shape to be able to do this? I mean, who knows? All of our records are 50 to 60 years old, our favorite ones. The tapes aren't going to last forever, and people aren't recording new digital stuff. I mean, they're not recovering in analog anymore. They're just not. So the Audiophile LP thing, I think it's done. I think they'll try to squeeze as much as they can out of it, but that's just my opinion. I mean, if you guys haven't noticed the vague language and all that stuff that's been going on, look around. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you guys see in the comments. Maybe it's just me, but ask yourself the question. When's the last time you've heard a really, really good reissue that beats the original? To me, the answer is, it hasn't happened. But, now on to the top 5 greatest guitarists of all time. One has to pick what one likes. And every guitarist, or every person, likes what's in that guitarist's head. The things that he's thinking of, the sounds that he's getting through his guitar. Sometimes that may match up to you, but it may not make sense to me. His feelings that he's trying to get through his guitar are registering to you, but not registering to me. So these are my 5. Number 5. Jack Butler. Steve Vai, guys. Steve Vai played for Whitesnake, played for Zappa. Phenomenal guitarist. You want to check out him wail? Listen to For the Love of God. It's a great tune. I like watching his YouTube channel, Steve Vai himself. I think he's a cool cat. He's number 5 for me. Yes, most of his stuff is instrumental. And, you know, no vocals. And I usually don't dig instrumental stuff. But he's Jack Butler, man. So he's got to go number 5. Number 4. He's never was a solo artist, so I don't have a chance to own one of his records. But I'll put up the record is that who he played for. Howlin' Wolf's guitarist, Hubert Sumlin. Not a lot of people mention it. But all your favorite guys like the Stones, Eric Clapton, Hendrix, they all know who Hubert Sumlin was. Hubert Sumlin was taught guitar by Howlin' Wolf. So it's amazing that he ended up as good as he did. He gets the number 4 spot on mine. The number 3 spot, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Now me, personally, I have never seen a guy beat the shit out of his guitar and manage to get good sound out of it. I mean, those strings he has on those Strats, man, I couldn't even do a bend on those, the way he has his guitar set up. But, I mean, in the early 80s, he just went from a normal dude to a serious guitar player, and just, he started to change, man. Great guitar player. He's my number 3. Now, number 2. If you guys have watched my channel, you know I love him and you know I saw him live. Eddie Van Halen. Seeing this guy live was a treat. Running around barefoot, smoking cigs, flicking guitar picks at everybody. Cigarette hanging out of his mouth, eyes going in the back of his head. Who knows what the hell he's thinking or what he's doing. All I know is that he's getting phenomenal sounds out of his guitar. Now, and if you guys ever had the chance to see Eddie Van Halen live, let me know in the comments. Because, unbelievable. It was a treat and a privilege to see him live. Now, guys, here it comes, number 1. The one that pisses the most people off that say, how could you put him number 1? Well, I'm putting it number 1 because he's a dude that makes the most sense to me. In my head, the sounds he was trying to get out of his guitar, his heart, man, it's just like, it's like church in heaven. The use of his hammer-ons. Hendrix. It's gotta be Hendrix. I mean, if you're listening to Purple Haze, or you're listening to, you know, All Along the Watchtower, you're not gonna hear it. Turn on Machine Gun. Or turn on Hey Baby off the Land of New Rising Sun. Turn on 1983. He's the best, and it's not even close. The feedback he gets out of his guitar, the way he's able to throw in crafty hammer-ons and all these little bends he does. The guitar sounds are phenomenal, and he was copied for generations and generations. John Mayer, Stevie Ray Vaughan, everybody copied Hendrix. And that's why he's got to be number 1. Got to. Who's your top 5? Alright guys, this is Bobby with Spitting the Truth. If you like the content, please hit the like and subscribe. If not, I'm out guys. Hope to make another video soon. Deuces.